As a cyclone Amphan intensifies into a super cyclonic storm, Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair a high-level meeting with Ministry of Home Affairs and NDMA officials to review the situation. The cyclone is expected to hit the Bengal-Odisha coast on Wednesday. As lockdown is extended across India till the 31st of May, the Ministry of Home Affairs issues fresh advisory to states, asks them not to dilute the restrictions in the prohibited list. After centre's directives, the state governments start announcing new guidelines on Lockdown 4.0. Karnataka allows cabs and public transport to run outside the containment zones. Complete curfew to be imposed on Sunday. Number of active corona-infected cases in the country now increased to 56,316. 36,824 people were cured after treatment. The number of deaths stand at 3,029. India joins 61 nations to seek impartial probe into coronavirus crisis. A draft calls for impartial, independent and comprehensive probe into WHO's response to COVID pandemic. And Brazil overtakes Italy and Spain as virus cases grow. Death toll nears 90,000 mark in the US, but in Europe, many countries including Spain and Italy set to further ease the lockdown as the situation improves. Hello and welcome. You're watching DD News and DD India with me, Munmun Bhattacharya. Our top story: Prime Minister Narendra Modi will chair a high-level meeting today to review the situation arising out of super cyclonic storm Amphan, which is likely to hit the eastern coast. Union Minister Amit Shah said that Prime Minister's meeting with the Ministry of Home Affairs and the National Disaster Management Authority will take place at 4 p.m. and the Prime Minister, we are aware, is the chairman of the NDMA. Well, the Home Ministry has said that the super cyclone Amphan is likely to hit the West Bengal and Bangladesh coast with a wind speed of up to 185 kilometers per hour on Wednesday. In an advisory to West Bengal and Odisha governments, the ministry has said that Amphan was spotted on Monday morning over the central parts of South Bay of Bengal and the adjoining Central Bay of Bengal. It has been moving nearly northwards with a speed of 13 kilometers per hour during the past 6 hours and lay centered at 5:30 in the morning Indian Standard Time on Monday. The storm intensified further into a super cyclonic storm by this noon, and heavy rainfall is likely to occur at isolated places over the district of Gajapati, Ganjam, Puri, Jagatsinghpur and Kendrapara. Rainfall will commence from this evening and multiple ICG disaster relief teams all along the east coast are kept on standby for immediate mobilization for search and rescue as well as relief operations. Ships, aircraft, maritime rescue coordination centers continue to relay information on Amphan to ships and fishermen out at sea. At least 90 fishing boats have been escorted to safe harbors by the Coast Guard units yesterday. Let's now listen in to what the Director General of the NDRF, S.N. Pradhan, has to say on the preparations being made to tackle the super cyclone.
Good afternoon. This is S.N. Pradhan, Director General of the National Disaster Response Force, with an update on the cyclone Amphan. Cyclone Amphan is a developing situation and it is most likely, as per the IMD report, to turn into a very severe cyclonic storm by this evening and continue to be so for some time. As far as NDRF is concerned, in Orissa and in West Bengal, a total of 37 teams have been deployed, out of which 17 are in deployment right now, with 3 possible additions in West Bengal, and that will be 20 teams actively deployed and 17 teams on standby. So to repeat, in West Bengal and Orissa, a total of 20 teams will be actively deployed by the end of this day, with 17 teams on standby. In Orissa, the deployment is in 7 districts and a total of 12 teams are deployed. In West Bengal, the deployment is in 6 districts and a total of 10 teams are deployed. All the teams have either reached the locations or are about to reach. The teams which have started in the morning today will be reaching by evening. All the teams which have been deployed and have reached have started the awareness campaigns. As can be understood, this is a multiple challenge, or at least a dual challenge, because this is a cyclone in the time of COVID. So we are facing a double challenge, so to say, and the awareness drive is accordingly tailored for awareness both on the front of COVID-19 as well as safety from the cyclone. We have started interacting with and coordinating with the local administration, the district administration, the state government agencies for active evacuation from the possible impacted areas. All in all, NDRF is fully geared with all the equipment and all the paraphernalia to face the situation. And we will be updating as we go along. Jai Hind.
And our correspondent Sudhakar Das is now joining us for more on this. Sudhakar, we are given to understand that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be chairing a high-level meeting at 4 p.m. in order to review India's preparedness as far as tackling the super cyclone is concerned. Give us more details of the kind of preparations that are being made, because India has a track record of tackling such crises in the past.
जी मनमोहन, बेहद ही महत्वपूर्ण है ये बैठक। शाम 4 बजे जब प्रधानमंत्री न सिर्फ गृह मंत्रालय के बल्कि एनडीए में जो नेशनल डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी है उसके अधिकारियों से मिलेंगे। मुमकिन है गृह मंत्री अमित शाह भी इस बैठक में मौजूद रहे। और हमको पता है कि आपदाओं को लेकर प्रधानमंत्री कितने सतर्क रहते हैं, और जो एक सिस्टम पिछले 5-6 वर्षों में भारत में खासतौर से क्रिएट हुआ है, उसकी वजह से जो तमाम प्राकृतिक आपदाएं हैं उसमें जान माल की काफी हद तक क्षति हमने रोकी है। पिछले साइक्लोन फोनी, हुदहुद या बुलबुल की बात हो, इन तमाम साइक्लोन में हमने देखा कि इन तैयारियों की वजह से बहुत कम जो जान माल की हानि हुई है। तो शायद यही एक मकसद है प्रधानमंत्री का आज इस बड़ी बैठक बुलाने का। एक तरह से जो तैयारियां हैं, जो पूरी स्थिति है, मौसम विभाग का जो पूर्वानुमान है और उसके मुताबिक किस तरह की क्या आशंका हो सकती है, खास करके तटवर्ती इलाके। अभी कहा जा रहा है कि उड़ीसा के कम से कम जो 7 कोस्टल डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं और वेस्ट बंगाल के 6 कोस्टल डिस्ट्रिक्ट, वहां इसका ज्यादा असर रहने की संभावना है। हालांकि ये कहा जा रहा है अभी सुपर साइक्लोन में भले तब्दील होने वाला है ये तूफान, लेकिन जब ये तट से टकराएगा 20 तारीख को, तो उस समय ये वेरी सीवियर साइक्लोनिक स्टॉर्म में बदलेगा। तो यानी लेकिन तो भी उस समय भी उसकी विंड की गति जो 155 से 180 किलोमीटर तक रहेगी, तो वो भी एक तरह से खतरनाक स्थिति होती है। तो ना सिर्फ जो कोस्टल एरियाज हैं वहां से लोगों को सुरक्षित स्थानों पर पहुंचाना, उनके लिए तमाम व्यवस्थाएं करना, और जिसका जिक्र एनडीआरएफ डीजी भी कर रहे थे। कोविड का समय है, तो ऐसे में तमाम प्रिकॉशंस के साथ ये प्रक्रियाएं पूरी करनी पड़ेगी। तो ये चुनौतीपूर्ण और एक बड़ा टास्क होगा, और इसमें एनडीआरएफ की जो 37 टीमें हैं वो दोनों सरकारों की मदद करेगी। इसके अलावा जो दूसरा एक जरूरी काम होता है कि इस तरह की आपदाओं की स्थिति में तुरंत जो एक नॉर्मलसी कैसे बहाल की जा सकती है, क्योंकि तमाम चीजों को नुकसान पहुंचता है। पावर लाइन्स हो, पावर ट्रांसमिशन लाइन्स हो, कम्युनिकेशंस लाइन्स हो, रोड्स हो और नेटवर्क हो, तो जो इक्विपमेंट्स के साथ जो सारी एनडीआरएफ की टीम है वो मौजूद रहेगी। किसी तरह की कोई बाधा आती है तो उन बाधाओं को दूर करते हुए, लेकिन अवेयरनेस बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है। कोस्टल इलाके के लोग वेंचर आउट ना करें, खासतौर से कल, परसों और 21 तारीख को भी मुमकिन रहे तो। और साथ ही साथ जो तमाम एहतियाती उपाय हैं वो अपनाए जाए। फिशरमैन जो हैं, जो मछुआरे हैं, उनको भी समुद्र में नहीं जाने की सलाह दी गई है। कोस्टल इलाके में जो किनारे पे घर हैं, क्योंकि जो ऊंची लहरें भी समुद्र से उठ सकती हैं, तो उसकी भी आशंका है। तो ऐसे में तमाम लोगों को सावधानी काफी बरतने की जरूरत है। साथ ही साथ जो कोस्टल एरियाज है और साथ ही साथ थोड़ा सा डीप इनसाइड अगर कहें उड़ीसा और पश्चिम बंगाल में, तो कई स्थानों पर भारी बारिश की भी आशंका है। तो इस तरह की तमाम स्थितियों को आम लोग भी समझे और अवेयर रहे। और प्रधानमंत्री की कोशिश होगी राज्य सरकार से जो उनको इनपुट मिले हैं, जो गृह मंत्रालय एनडीएमए से जो इनपुट मिलेगा, और वो एक प्रॉपर गाइडेंस दे सकते हैं। और हमने देखा कि अतीत में इन तैयारियों की वजह से जान माल एक तरह से हजारों जिंदगियां भारत में बचाई गई हैं, और खासतौर से पिछले 5-6 वर्षों की अगर बात की जाए तो। मनमोहन।
Absolutely, Sudhakar. We've seen in the past how the centre has continuously monitored the situation, reviewed the situation from time to time, and has also been in touch with the concerned state governments. This time around, is the centre in touch with the state governments of West Bengal and Odisha, which may be impacted if this super cyclone indeed makes landfall?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, देखिए सबसे पहले तो सबसे बड़ी जरूरत है, क्योंकि 20 तारीख को दोपहर में ये तट से टकराएगा, लेकिन उससे पहले अगर ये बात कहें तो एक तरह से आशंका है कि 19 तारीख को रात या 20 तारीख के सुबह से ही जो पूरी स्थितियां जो है गंभीरता बढ़नी शुरू हो जाएगी। तो उससे पहले जो ये 7 जिले उड़ीसा के जो नॉर्थ कोस्टल डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं और जो पश्चिम बंगाल के 6 जिले हैं कोस्टल डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं, उन 13 जिलों से कम तटवर्ती इलाकों से जो समुद्री सीमा से लगे हुए गांव हैं, उन वहां से लोगों को सुरक्षित स्थानों पर पहुंचा दिया जाए। तो ये बड़ा टास्क होगा लाखों लोगों को। उसमें केंद्र किस तरह से मदद मुहैया करा सकती है। दूसरी बात उनके लिए जो तमाम व्यवस्थाएं करना, उसमें किस तरह से मदद पहुंचाई जा सकती है। तीसरी बात, आपदा के तुरंत बाद जिन चीजों की जरूरत पड़ती है उसके लिए पहले से तैयारियां रखना, रिस्टोरेशन वर्क बहुत तेजी से हो सके ताकि लोगों को ज्यादा समय तक दिक्कतें ना हो। इन तमाम चीजों का आकलन करने की एक तरह से कोशिश की जाएगी और निश्चित तौर पर एक अवेयरनेस की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत रहती है। और प्रधानमंत्री शीर्ष स्तर से बैठक करते हैं, वो जब सारी चिंता करते हैं तो ये एक मैसेज ग्राउंड लेवल तक जाता है। जो पूरा तंत्र बना हुआ है आपदा प्रबंधन का, रिलीफ रेस्क्यू का, तो वो पूरा तंत्र कारगर तरीके से काम करता है। प्रधानमंत्री खुद भी राज्यों के संपर्क में लगातार रहते हैं, तो एक प्रॉपर और डायरेक्ट कम्युनिकेशन की वजह से कई चीजें ना सिर्फ तेजी से हो पाती हैं, बल्कि एक तरह से जो इस काम में तमाम लोग लगे हुए हैं तो उनका भी उत्साह बढ़ता है। तो काफी ये महत्वपूर्ण है प्रधानमंत्री की ये बैठक। और इस बैठक के बाद जो भी और उपायों का ऐलान होगा, जो प्रधानमंत्री जी अपनी तरफ से निर्देश देंगे, और उसके बाद राज्य सरकारों की जो अपनी मांग है या उनका जो असेसमेंट है उसकी जब चिंता की जाएगी। तो एक राज्य की बात नहीं है, उड़ीसा की सिर्फ बात नहीं है, सिर्फ पश्चिम बंगाल की बात नहीं है, किसी सिर्फ एक जिले की बात नहीं है, एक कलेक्टर को सिर्फ ये नहीं करना है। प्रधानमंत्री खुद चिंता कर रहे हैं, केंद्र सरकार का पूरा तंत्र लगा हुआ है, एनडीआरएफ, एनडीएमए, गृह मंत्रालय काम कर रहा है। जरूरत पड़ी तो इन तमाम स्थितियों में हमने देखा कि सेना को भी सतर्क पर रखा गया है। तो सेना भी, चाहे इंडियन एयरफोर्स हो, नेवी हो, तो इस तरह के तमाम लोगों को लगाया जा सकता है। तो उन तमाम चीजों की जरूर चिंता करेंगे। और इस बैठक के बाद हमें उम्मीद है कि मीडिया को भी जानकारी मिलेगी कि क्या कुछ अहम फैसले हुए 4 बजे जब प्रधानमंत्री ने इस बड़ी बैठक की अध्यक्षता की।
Stay with us, Sudhakar. Our correspondent Anibrato is now joining us from Kolkata. Well, Anibrato, if you are with us, how is West Bengal bracing for this super cyclone?
Yeah, Munmun, preparation is in full swing. What we found in the last time when the Bulbul hit the Bengal coastline, we found that it barreled through the coastal belt of Bengal, particularly from Dighaville, and thereafter it made landfall in between, India and Bangladesh at the Sagar Island. This time also the route also almost remaining same, because cyclone Amphan is likely to make landfall between Digha in Bengal and Hatia Island in Bangladesh. It's on believably on Wednesday evening. So all precautions have been taken, and the NDRF team has meanwhile taken position in Digha and in South 24 Pargana. 6 districts in West Bengal have been alerted. All precautions have been made, and the people who particularly live along the coastline, and particularly by the belt of the Digha belt, and, in the Sagar Island and near by that area, there have been constantly miking is being done, and they are being the administration has taken all measures to alert those people who are living in these areas. And what is a major cause of concern, particularly fishermen who have ventured into the sea. What we found in the last time, this bulbul didn't cause didn't leave. Didn't cause a loss of life, but it's a trail of devastation on the agricultural field. And many of the fishermen who ventured into sea didn't come back. So this time, this thing didn't happen to take place further. So this is the major cause of concern in the minds of the administration. So they are taken all measures. and particularly till 15th March, the fishermen were not allowed to venture into the sea. Thereafter, few of the fishermen who braved the loss and went into the sea, they have been asked to come back to the shore. Moon.
Well, thank you, Anibrato, for those details. Our correspondent Anibrato reporting really on the preparations being made by the West Bengal administration in order to prepare for this super cyclone, which is likely to make landfall on Wednesday. We'll bring you more details on this as and when more developments pan out. Let's move on now. Well, the Home Ministry has said that no state or union territory will dilute the guidelines issued for the nationwide lockdown that will continue till the 31st of May. And in a communication to the Chief Secretaries of States and Union Territories, Union Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla said that guidelines for the fourth phase of the lockdown were issued after taking the views of states following a video conference held by Prime Minister Narendra Modi with chief ministers on the 11th of May. He further said that states and union territories, based on the assessment of the situation, may prohibit certain other activities in various zones or impose such restrictions as deemed necessary. Bhalla, in his letter to chief secretaries on Sunday night, urged them to ensure compliance of new guidelines and asked them to direct all concerned authorities for their strict implementation. He said under the new guidelines, effective from Monday, the states and union territories will categorize red, orange and green zones, taking into consideration the revised guidelines issued by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare on Sunday. New guidelines and lockdown measures have been issued in supersession of the earlier lockdown orders, except the standing operating procedures issued on the movement of persons. The Karnataka government today announced new guidelines for Lockdown 4.0, and as per the latest guidelines, all the 4 State Transport Corporation buses will resume services except in red and containment zones from tomorrow. Private buses have also been permitted to run their services. Only 30 persons would be allowed to travel in buses, and wearing of face masks and maintaining physical distancing are mandatory. However, interstate transport would not be allowed except in emergency cases. Autos and taxis were also given the green signal to get onto the roads, but there should be only 3 passengers, including the driver. In maxi cabs, the maximum number should be 4 passengers, including the driver. Trains can operate within the state but not interstate services till the 31st of May. Saloons can also pull up their shutters. They can start working, and parks have been allowed to open from 7 in the morning to 9 in the morning and then from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. except shopping malls and cinema halls. All shops can open. The Chief Minister in a press conference said that night curfew would continue from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and there would be a complete lockdown on Sundays. And our correspondent Aisha joins us for more on this. Aisha, tell us about how Karnataka has come out with its own new set of guidelines and how they are different from what the centre has issued for Lockdown 4.0.
Well, Munmohan, Karnataka's guidelines, the advisory that the Chief Minister just issued after the Ministry of Home Affairs has issued the advisory. What is interesting in Karnataka is that there will be a total curfew on Sundays, that is 2 Sundays till May 31st. And this is necessary because the Chief Minister feels that since there are more relaxations being given for the free movement of people and the public transport will start, so people need to give a break on at least a Sunday, and that will be a total quarantine day for all the people in the state. So 2 Sundays will be total curfew in the state. There will be no movement of vehicles. There will be no opening of shops except essential services. So this is a very interesting aspect that the Chief Minister has just announced. And also the fact that Karnataka has reported 84 cases today, which is the highest spike since COVID-19 spread in the country. So therefore, Karnataka government is not very sportive in the manner to give more relaxations other than which were in force during the lockdown 3. So Karnataka government has said that there will be no reopening of the schools and colleges, and also officers will have a limited work staff as well. And IT/BT companies have already said that they will begin work only after July 31st. So these things will remain in force. Besides the fact that parks will be allowed to open, but the malls and most air-conditioned malls and shops will not be allowed to open. And also another fact that there was a pressure on the Chief Minister from certain sections of the community demanding that the Chief Minister give permission to offer the Eid namaz at the Eidgah Maidan. The Eid will be on 24th or 25th of this month, depending on the sighting of the moon. But the Chief Minister has rejected this demand from the former Union Minister C.M. Ibrahim, and he said that since there is a Union Ministry guidelines and ban on the congregation of people at the religious places, this will not be allowed. Hence, strict rules in place, and Eid namaz will be offered at home in Karnataka, just like other parts of the country. So Karnataka Chief Minister taking cautious steps to see to that corona disease, which is in control in the state from the beginning, will not be allowed to spread, and all the precautions will be in place, and lockdown 3 is almost extended, except the fact that the Sundays will be total curfew.
Absolutely, Aisha. Thank you so much for that update. Well, as per the Ministry of Health's latest data, the total number of confirmed cases in India has reached 96,169. Out of this, 56,316 are active cases. 36,823 people have fully recovered from the viral infection, and 3,029 people have lost their lives to the illness. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in his Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio on the 31st of this month. It will be the 65th episode of the monthly radio program, and the Prime Minister has invited people to share their ideas. People can dial 1800-11-7800 to record their message and can write on the Namo app, Open Forum or on MyGov. People can also give a missed call on 1922 and follow the link received in SMS to directly give their suggestions. People can share their ideas on topics till the 25th of May. The 62 countries, including India, have backed a joint effort by Australia and European Union calling for an independent inquiry into the World Health Organization's response to the COVID-19 pandemic, according to a draft resolution proposed for the 73rd World Health Assembly meeting beginning today. The draft calls for impartial, independent and comprehensive probe into coronavirus crisis, besides an inquiry into the actions of the WHO and their timelines pertaining to the COVID-19 pandemic. European nations and Australia have been gathering support for an impartial, independent and comprehensive evaluation of the WHO coordinated international health response to COVID-19. Last month, Australia was the first country to call for an independent inquiry into how the outbreak started. That's it then in this edition of the news. Up next is a special broadcast on the new discharge policy for COVID-19 patients in India. All that after a short break. Stay tuned.